Hi, this is Neil from Pro Tools Expert, and today I am back with another video about the Arturia V Collection 3. In my first video I looked at the Mini V, and today I'm going to look at the Prophet V. I'd like to start by just reminding you to go to the Arturia website and have a listen to some of the sounds that are available to listen to in this little player here. Maybe a bit better representation of the sounds than my keyboard playing, so go and have a look. Also go and download the manual for this particular synth, and in fact all of the synths. They've got a great bit of history about the synths themselves, how they came to be. So I highly recommend you go and download the manuals and read them, and also go and download the demo version of these synths, because they are fantastic and you've got to hear them yourself to really appreciate the amazing sound of them. So as I said, today I'm going to look at the Prophet V. There's actually more than just the Prophet V included in this synth. It's the Prophet V and Prophet VS and a hybrid of the two. So I'm going to look through those options today. So without further ado, let's go and have a look at those. So here we are. This is the original Prophet V. It's called the Prophet V by Arturia. The original synth was made by a company called Sequential Circuits, and it was called the Prophet V. It was revolutionary when it was released. I believe that people said it was like having 5 mini Moogs in one, which must have been quite amazing for the time. Basically what you have is 5 voices within this synth, so it's a polyphonic synth, and there's the usual arrangement of 2 oscillators going through a mixer with a filter section. There's this polymod section, which is a modulation involving the filter section, oscillator B, and the pulse width of oscillator A. It makes some pretty crazy sounds, so we'll go through and have a look at that. There's also an LFO section here, which can be bought in and actually controlled via the mod wheel. There's sections here you can choose the destinations for that LFO, what it's going to affect. So it can affect the frequency of A or B, or the pulse width of A or B, or the filter section. And there's also a noise generator there as well. So it's quite complex for a straightforward synth, and you can get some pretty crazy sounds out of it, and it's actually quite overwhelming to start with to work out the actual routing for it, and the manual's very helpful for that. There's obviously as well the amplifier section that you get on most synths at the end here. There's a tuning knob so that you can detune or retune in general. There's a tone generator doing a A440 if you want to retune. Analog synths used to go out of tune or need retuning when they get warm. They change their tuning slightly, so this is a nice little addition, and yeah, you can turn it on there. You've got that A note and you can retune if you want to, and that's quite nice. So nice little addition. Obviously the main volume knob there's a hold for the notes and legato. Again, like the Mini V video, I'm not going to go through too much of the main front panel. I'd like to concentrate on the advanced features. As I said, this is kind of like 3 synths in one. First of all, you've got the original Prophet V and even the original sound banks, which are selectable in this section here, and they actually start at 11 and go up in tens. So there's 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, and back to 11 again. So that, and there's 8 patches within each bank, and these are the original patches of the original unit. So that's quite nice to have there. There's also the actual patch browsers up the top here as usual, so you can select between the original factory Prophet V and the hybrid and the VS version. So, and there's new presets here as well that have been made for version 2. So they navigate in the same way as the Mini V, with the banks here and then the patches, and then you can categorize here. So that's all the same. So this is the standard Prophet V layout. If you want to look at the Prophet VS, you just click the VS button here and it opens up an extra panel which has an extra section of oscillators which are actually wavetables, and you can select different wavetables by clicking and holding here, and you can scroll through different wave shapes, which is quite nice, very different. And at least you can see the waveforms, which is cool, and you can audition them by scrolling through like that. So you just click and drag the mouse up and down. There's a modulation matrix here, similar to the Mini V, but a different graphical layout. So you've got sources and destinations and a mount here, which is good. And there's this filter section and a mixer between the envelopes here, which is like a little joystick, which is quite crazy. And I'll give an example of how that works later on in the video. So that's the VS, and then there's a hybrid between the two. If you just click the hybrid button here, it opens out to have both synths going at once. So that's the big hybrid version, which is cool. Additionally, there is the sound map, like I showed you in the Mini V video, where you can select particular presets and save them as snapshots, and then go to the compass view and morph between them. So need to select some presets, and then you can go to the compass view and you can morph between them. I'll show you that later as well. So that's the overview of the actual front panels, and I'm going to move on to some of the sounds. So this is the original unit, and I'm just going to go through some of the original presets and give you an example of how the original Prophet V would have sounded. The sound quality of this synth is really good, this emulation, and I'm quite impressed with all these Arturia synths on the clarity of sound and how big and solid they sound. So the basic presets, as I explained, were available on the front panel here, and starts at 11 and works its way up to 50. So on each bank there's 8 presets, and they sound fairly basic by today's standards, but if you mix them in with other sounds and layer things, they can sound quite big. So it's just a brass kind of preset here. And it's quite nice actually being polyphonic, and 5 notes polyphonic, so you could run 5 notes at once, so that allows you to play chords. So that's a fairly good example of the basic sound set with the Prophet V, and I'm just going to show you just how dramatic the changes in sound are with this polymod section. So you've got an electric piano sound here that's quite basic, and if you just have a listen to the differences between oscillator A and B. So this is B, and then oscillator A. So you've got just A quite at a low level, but let's make some changes here. So if we affect oscillator B here with the mod wheel and just bring in this LFO here, and let's just change the wave shape there. And this is the rate of that, which can be syncable as well. And you can affect obviously the other oscillator as well. You can bring in as many things for it to actually affect as you like in the list here. So things can get quite hectic quite quickly. So the sounds can get messed up quite easily just using those sections there with the oscillators and filter section. So it's quite versatile, really. Okay, and I will be back with part 2 to show you the Prophet VS and some more advanced features. Until then, thanks for watching and goodbye.